What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about why tab performance slip-ons are trash. I have finally found my favorite exhaust setup for my Milwaukee 8 Harley-Davidson Road King Special. What's up, everybody? My name is Rev, and I'm glad that you stopped by the channel today. I hope you're not offended. I don't actually think that tab performance slip-ons are trash. In fact, I think they're a very acceptable, very good slip-on option. I especially love them on the 107 Softail platform. I had previously a Softail Street Bob with the 107 Milwaukee 8, and I did not have the tab performance, but my cousin Nathan did, and I still think to this day his motorcycle sounds better than any Harley I've heard with that particular setup. The 107 Milwaukee 8, the tab performance slip-ons with the zombie baffles. Sounds phenomenal. So when I bought my 2023 Road King Special, the first thing I wanted was tab performance slip-ons with the zombie baffles. So before the bike even left the dealership on the very first day, we installed tab performance slip-ons with zombie baffles. But unfortunately, it just didn't have the same feel. It just didn't have the same sound. And so I wasn't completely satisfied. And so the search began for my perfect exhaust system setup. And we're so glad that you stopped by the channel today. If you've been with us for a while, welcome back. If this is your first time stopping by, I would love to have you subscribe to our channel. Here at RevMoto NC, we do all things motorcycles, and we love sharing our rides, our rallies, our parts, accessory installs, and our opinions of all things motorcycles. So if that's stuff you're interested in, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you're among the first to know when we post new content. So because I was so convinced that the tab performance slip-ons and zombie baffles were the perfect solution, I tried a multitude of things before switching out the exhaust system on my Road King Special. I first attempted to delete the catalytic converter. We'll link that video here. That one has gained a lot of traction. A lot of people have watched it, commented on it, interacted with it. And so maybe that's something you're interested in doing for yourself. Maybe you just want to try to open up that exhaust system a little bit and see what that does for you. In my experience, it definitely changed the exhaust tone, and it significantly reduced the amount of heat that I was feeling coming off the exhaust system. However, it still didn't check all the boxes, and I still wasn't madly in love with it. So we set out to try something different. Reached out to our friends at Chromeworks. We got a set of their 2x2 full exhaust system, header back, slip-ons, everything. My wonderful bride and I spent an afternoon installing that system. It was a relatively easy install. Should only take a couple of hours in your own garage with some basic hand tools. There were a couple of things that we fought a little bit, in particular a bracket that was a little wonky, but we finally got it, and it really wasn't a bad install. Now, I've put about 1,000 miles on this system with the exhaust just as it came to me. No baffles, just the straight headers into the exhaust system, and it sounded great. In fact, the tone was so much deeper that when you started the motorcycle and were standing beside of it, you could literally feel the exhaust note in your chest, and I loved that. However, it mellowed out quite a bit as you were riding. Now, for some of you, that may be exactly what you are looking for, but for me, I wanted a little more noise, a little something, a little louder, and so we started experimenting a little bit. One of the things that I also discovered with just the stock system itself, just the way it comes to you from Chromeworks, is I noticed a really big difference in the low-range torque on the bike. I didn't even know that I was necessarily missing that torque because I'd been riding the bike since day one with the tab performance slip-ons. But what I noticed was a significant difference between 2,500 and 3,500-ish RPMs. Now, that doesn't sound like a very broad range, but what I found is it's the difference in cruising on the interstate and going to pass a vehicle, having to downshift to fifth, or just being able to roll on the throttle, make that pass, and get back in your lane. This is not backed up with lots of dyno data. If that's something you're looking for, those videos exist. They're here on YouTube. I encourage you to check those out. What I'm giving you is merely my down and dirty opinion and what I feel in the saddle. And so what I felt was a noticeable difference in low-end torque. Back to the sound issue, I didn't quite have the exhaust tone that I was looking for, and so we've started experimenting with different baffles. One of the things I love about the Chromeworks setup is they make changing out the baffles super easy. It's a 5/32 Allen, 2 of those in each side. You pull the baffle straight out and it makes it super easy to change things up. I'm going to drop in some clips of both the Ripper baffle and the louvered baffle. I've had both. I like both for different reasons. I will also say, if you want to listen to this and try to get an idea of what each of these baffle setups sounds like, I encourage you to put some AirPods in, or maybe even just some high quality headphones, because if you're just listening on your phone or your computer or TV, you're probably not going to get the best picture or the best idea of what these actually sound like. So we're going to go ahead and drop some of those in here. Okay, just for fun, let's try a louvered baffle in the right side and a Ripper baffle in the left side. So which one do you prefer? The Ripper baffles or the louvered baffle? What is the best sounding baffle combination for the Chromeworks 2-into-2 system? Or what is your favorite exhaust setup? I'd love to know in the comments down below. So for me, I think I've found my favorite exhaust setup for my particular Harley Davidson. And so that's going to do it for this episode. I hope this has been helpful for you. Can't wait to hear what your favorite setup is. But until we meet again, you know the drill. Let's keep them revved up. Y'all have a great day.